Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Avi, and I will be playing your favorite real kind detective idiot boy, Shiro Azumi. And today I am joined by the wonderful.
Hi, I'm Candlestick, and today I'm going to be playing my wonderful idiot bookworm, Crystal. Uh, yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
Here we go. This is going to be a fun interaction, no matter what. Uh, but yes, Crystal, you tend to work from time to time in hospitals, is that right?
Yes, because her research is in basically magic nullification, and that includes like helping identify and maybe treat illnesses that are harder to pinpoint. So she does go in there both to like sort of gather information and to help out and give advice sometimes.
Yes, that's nice and interesting. Um, Today you are in a hospital somewhere in let's say Toontown. Um, and it's an interesting day today because there is a bit of a crowd. Um, Let me put it this way. You know how chaotic it can get um when when somebody who is well known is in a specific area and there's these guards that are trying to keep like a
Mm,
paparazzi back. Uh, that's kind of the mental image I have in mind. There's like let's say like there's like one specific hallway that is blocked off, and you are standing away from the this hallway specifically, um, because well, based on the little I know about Crystal, you're not really a people person. Is that right?
no, she is not. This is I think the only reason she's clocked this is because it's inconveniencing her at the moment.
Oh, absolutely. Um, oh, I love that. Uh, but yes, you have noticed this, and you have noticed that these people are clamoring, and it's not out of like, oh, there is someone famous here, we want to meet them and want to get an autograph. This is more like, there is someone here, and some of these people here want answers. Uh,
Hmm.
So these people are clamoring. Some of them are interviewers. Some of them are just people. It's not a pretty scene. And let's. Do you want to roll a quick perception?
I would love to. Oh, Crystal, you're paying attention today.
All right. Yes, that works. That works. Let's say that like there's a specific door that is not that far off from the specific like guard or guards that are trying to keep this sort of like crowd at bay. Um, there's let's call it like a I forgot what it's called. It's not like it's not it's not a surgery room. It's a room where the patient is being held while they're in recovery. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I forgot the specific word for it because my mind is blanking. It's been a day. Um,
Yes, fair. I can't remember what it's called either, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Somebody steps out of this store specifically, um, and you see that this is a real kind young man, um, who has kind of lanky hair that goes down to his shoulders. Um, and he's wearing a sweater vest and a coat. And in one hand is a metal briefcase. Um, and you see him kind of like look in the direction of the crowd, and you see him sigh as he realizes that the easiest exit is blocked off by this group of people. In fact, the moment he steps out, there is a loud like uproar of these people like trying to call out to him to get him to answer questions. And he you actually see him like lift up a hand like no, I'm not answering questions at this time. And in fact he turns the other way.
I think there is some sympathy from Crystal because she's like she's not a people person. She's very rarely had the attention of crowds. But there is still that like, I know what it's like not wanting to interact with people and they won't leave you alone.
uh uh but I will say I'm pretty sure like this is an area where like if I remember right, like they do sometimes have the names of a patient like right next to the door of like where they're in recovery.
Mm.
Uh, with an 18, I would say that you probably saw that the name that's like right next to the door um, is Sinclair.
Hmm.
Do you want to roll a quick history?
Yeah, I think I will.
All right. And while you do, can you tell me if Crystal is the kind of person who reads the news?
Um, yes, she definitely does try to keep up to date with the news. Um, her what she focuses on is a little bit selective though, so it's really sort of up in the air.
All right. Yeah, that's fair. Holy shit.
Oh, okay. Um, that's a 27 for the recording in the audience.
Oh, wonderful. I love that. We love that. This is going to be a high modifier game, I assume.
Just anything that involves intelligence. Everything else is pretty terrible.
Uh, um, Crystal, you have seen the name Simon Sinclair in the news pretty recently. In fact, I would say the past week or two. I can't remember how long it's been. Time is a thing. Um,
Mm.
but the past week or so, Simon Sinclair's name has popped up every so often, not for a good reason. This is a real kind who was involved in the toon trade, and his trial happened recently. And with a 27, you remember reading in the newspaper. You probably skimmed like right over it, but you got the major details, which is that Simon Sinclair was on trial. His trial lasted for several days. At some point during the trial, seemingly out of nowhere, Sinclair just confessed to everything. And the people at the trial could not find any enchantments, so they don't think this was like magic induced. But after he confessed, there was an assassination attempt on his life.
Mm. I think in particular the reason why this is something that Crystal remembers so distinctly is one, because it probably caught her attention to begin with the toon trafficking as being something that's really kind of terrible, and then followed by the sudden change of heart, but not any magic involved, like that's something that would have piqued her curiosity. So, yeah, she definitely did she did read that article pretty thoroughly to see how much information she could pick up, just because it was very interesting to her from an academic point of view.
Mm-hmm. um, oh, shoot, I'm trying to think of how to get these two people like actually close together.
I know, because I'm just like, Crystal's like, this is all very interesting, but I still have a job to do.
If I say this, I wonder if this will help in any way. Um, so yes, in that case, you would know that the person who had just walked out of Sinclair's room is not Sinclair himself,
Mm.
but he does carry himself with the same kind of like demeanor as a detective or an inspector. Um, uh, if that at all interests Crystal, she could try to get some information out of him.
I don't know if she would, especially given that there's currently a crowd between the two of them.
Oh no, he is on the same side as she is. I was assuming.
Oh. Oh, okay. So like she's sort of seeing this from the other side of the crowd.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't make that clear.
Okay. I think in that case, she might I think, yeah, she might sort of be interested enough to at least take a moment if it seems like they're going in the same direction, sort of thing, and maybe he needs some directions out of the place, past the crowd.
um,
So I think maybe with the with that, maybe something along the lines of, if you're looking for a way past the crowd, you can turn down the left-hand corridor.
uh, 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 are you saying that she would say this, or if
Yeah, like if he's close to her, like, because I'm assuming that she came in a way that bypassed a lot of the crowds, so she would know the way out past the crowds.
yeah. That checks out. So if she says that out loud to him, he goes, "Oh, thank you very much." Um, and he's going to start walking.
uh yeah, I think there's a moment of debate before she sort of, like, I guess, falls in step a little bit, and like, oh god, how how are you going to do this, Crystal? Like, um I think maybe just a Crystal Everlight, and you are?
He stops and he turns to look at you, kind of surprised, like, "Oh, okay, we're doing this now." um, he goes. He looks you over and then he just goes, "Detective Shiro Azumi, a pleasure," and he holds out his left hand. And as he holds it out for you to shake, you realize that he is only wearing a glove on one hand, and that is his left hand.
Hmm. That's definitely a piece that's sort of like bit of a raised eyebrow, but tucked away, no comment. Instead, because she does have a bunch of notes and stuff. she probably shuffles them, swaps them under the other arm so that she can shake his hand.
You two shake hands. And as he and as he lets go, he goes, do you happen to be a staff member working here?
No, sorry, I myself, as the player, I'm trying to think of what it's called. Right. I am often called in to consult with some special cases. Um, I believe you also do not work here.
Ah, yes, you would be a consultant of sorts. I see. Yes, no, I am not part of the staff here either. Um, I'm just here to. And he glances over his shoulder in the direction of Sinclair's room, and he says, I was just here to interview the victim.
Oh, God, this is like such a difficult. It's so hard figuring out what Crystal would say to this because she's not usually this nosy, but she's also very, very blunt. So, I think yeah, she probably just is like, you mean Simon Sinclair?
Yes. I, well, to put it simply, this case, this. And he pauses like he's trying to figure out the best way to word it in a way that you can understand. Um, his case, having a sudden change of heart, and he doesn't lift his hands, but you can assume by his connotation there are air quotes around change of heart. Um, this is not the first time I have seen something similar. I'm just here to, well, hopefully get to the bottom of the case.
That does actually pique Crystal's curiosity because that was probably the thing that interested her the most. Um, but I think what she says is, and how's that going for you?
Well, have you read the news? Sinclair, well, an assassination attempt was made on his life, and fortunately he survived, but interviewing is proving difficult as the bullet seems to have caused him permanent damage and he is unable to speak. He appears to be permanently mute.
Yeah, that would definitely make things more difficult.
But the presence of a calling card does confirm my suspicions. Um, this is. Well, it's, as I said, something I have seen before. Would you mind? Are you heading somewhere? Would you mind walking with me as we speak?
Um, she will nod. She knows what it's like to want to multitask when you can because of limited time.
Mm-hmm. And also, he just doesn't want to get found by the by the crowd.
which is something Crystal can also empathize with. Yeah, it's really funny that they're actually finding some common ground at the moment.
Yeah. Whoops. Me, I have an idea. Accidentally gives the common ground. Whoops. um. Uh. Um. He's walking and he does keep his pace in at a reasonable tempo so that you can like keep up with ease. Um, as he walks and he makes sure that you're keeping up with him. He goes, "There was a calling card delivered to Sinclair, so I have reason to believe that this is part of the change of heart epidemic that's been happening around Toontown, which means there is a direct connection to Trickster of the Spirit Rogues. That said, though, without the prime victim being able to speak, that puts me out of a lead."
There's a sort of arched eyebrow and I thought from what I was able to gather, they said that this was not magical in nature. You believe that someone is behind it still, though?
Yes. And he looks over to you and he gives you a smile that's like, "Oh, you're quite clever, aren't you?" Whether or not Crystal likes that.
No, there's a bit of a, "What do you take me for?"
I'm sorry, Crystal, he's not used to people being on the same page as him. uh, he does have like a bit of a smile that he gives to you, and he looks over to you before he looks back to the path that he's walking down, and he goes, "There have been a similar outbreak of this change of heart epidemic even a few years ago in the country of Yedo. In fact, that's where Trickster of the Spirit Rogues crimes originated from."
And you, I suppose.
Indeed. Another look in your direction.
You may make a perception check if you'd like as well on Crystal, and I can give you some information if you'd like.
Absolutely. All right. See, this is what I'm talking about, Azumi. You don't need a bullshit high roll every single time. You got a 16.
Yeah, so like you do get like her appearance, which is very no nonsense, and the stack of like folders that is under her arm, and you do catch like some of the stuff that's on those folders. You can see there's like some medical charts, particularly from a few of the different headers. You can tell that they are like particularly magical ailments and curses and basically things that you would probably need to bring someone in who had more experience with magic to help out with.
And he does seem he does take this in, and he makes a few connections in his mind, and he goes, "Oh, you assume that if this was magical, this may be related to some sort of illness?"
More of a I have never seen anything quite like this, and it is something that seems to affect people. So it perked my professional curiosity.
Yes, well, this is a case I have personal experience with and a personal investment in. That said, I am willing to share share with you the details that I know. As I said before, this change of heart epidemic, it's happened before in Yedo, and every single victim that Trickster has Trickster and the Spirit Rogues have targeted, there have been no signs of enchantment, no sign of anything magical. It is as if they have had a complete, total psychological change instigated by seemingly nothing.
So, what makes you so sure that there is someone behind it then?
Because he delivers calling cards. I don't think that's a coincidence. Do you?
No, probably not. Still, it is very curious.
And he lets out a soft chuckle and nods, and he says, what does he say? Sorry, he got ahead of me that point. He says, yes, well, the fact of the matter is that nobody really seems to, hang on. Nobody seems to quite know, the methods behind such an act. But, Trickster does proclaim that he is able to, quote, steal corrupted hearts. As far as I know, every single one of his targets have been people in power who have abused their positions in some fashion.
And even you don't know how he does it.
I just rolled a previous deception check, and I am tempted to carry it over because this was what he was lying about.
Yeah, I'm more than happy for you to pull that over. I figured that's what that was, but also Crystal is that sort of blunt, and she does find the information about the fact that Trickster is going after corrupted officials, but that's not what she's most interested in, so she's sort of not going to comment on it as much.
And you see, you hear Azumi sigh, and he says, "Unfortunately, I haven't the slightest idea. If it's not magic, that rules out quite a few options. Who knows? He could even be giving his victims a well-needed therapy session." He chuckles at his own joke.
Well, that is some therapy session, considering. Sorry, I don't know where I was going with that. I think so along the lines of considering just how drastic of a change in such a short amount of time it is.
Indeed. Oh, I am sorry. I've been dominating this entire conversation. You said you were a consultant. Am I right to believe that you are consulting the hospital with magical illnesses?
Yes, my field of expertise and my research goes into providing resources and new methods of detecting and mitigating both unwanted magical sources and illnesses.
See. It is quite fascinating.
It's generally not appreciated as much as I have found by most people.
Oh, he actually does frown at that. He goes, "I can't imagine why. You're doing work that needs to be done and for the benefit of others."
That's what I tell people, but they still think that I am spending too much time focusing on it and not enough time looking after myself, or just don't seem to care at all. Sorry, you have gotten her ranting a little bit about this because for one thing is that yeah, Crystal has a bad habit of doing like not spending enough time on herself and too much time on her research, and also she's a terrible people person, so she's not always great at getting her point across to others about what she's doing and stuff. So
uh,
this is probably the most articulate you've gotten.
I am fucking astonished because I think this is kind of what Azumi wanted, just to like get information about the kind of person Crystal is without directly asking her. And I'm just sitting here with my head in my hands.
Oh, this went so differently than what I thought it would.
Oh, me too. I am just sitting here, buddy.
But no, she would not even like that would not even clock for her. She's just going.
Yes. And I think he says, well, I could understand the devotion to the devotion to something you are so passionate about, but do try not to burn yourself out. After all, we only have one body.
No, don't worry. I make sure that I do enough to take care of myself, but I feel like a lot of people don't understand that this is what I do when I want, like it is what brings me satisfaction and energy, and it's important. I don't need much time to myself.
In essence, this is time to yourself, then. You are devoting yourself to your studies and your resources and assisting others in this way.
Yeah, she sort of nods like, um, there's, I just, I don't, I want to make the world a place that is safe for people to be able to live their lives without fear of interference from things and beings that they have no control over.
Whew. Can you roll insight really quickly?
Sure.
Oh, that wording.
Oh, that's a nat 20.
Whew! Whew! Okay, I'm so glad he didn't roll deception for this. How do I put this into words? Because goddamn, that was a nat freaking 20. Okay, nat 20, 22 for the audience. What does he say? You say something along the lines of, people not having to be afraid of things and beings, beyond their control, right?
Yeah.
Alright, there is, like, a beat of a moment where, Azumi's brow raises, and then he had been looking towards you, like, while you were talking, like, giving you his full attention, and and then all of a sudden, he turns away so that he's not looking towards you, and he did wear that he had been wearing that like charming smile that this whole conversation. Um, it looks a little bit more, I guess, solemn is the word for it. Like he knows exactly what you're talking about, or at the very least, knows that experiencing something like that is terrifying.
Unfortunately, she's probably going to be kind of direct at that. And is that why you became a detective? Similar reasons.
Yes and no. Yes, that was part of the reason why. But also, well, he pauses like he's trying to find a way to put this into words that is not insulting, not because he wants to offend Crystal, but because there is no nice way to word this.
Mm.
Um, he takes a moment and he takes a deep breath and he says, Yedo is in an unfortunate position. Yes, I'm not sure if you are aware of this, but Yedo has a 99% conviction rate. And if the theory no, what was that? Ooh. The theory is that once you are convicted of a crime, there is no hope of being proven not guilty, even if you have done nothing wrong. And unfortunately, the reason for that is that a good majority of convictions in Yedo are made on false confessions. For and he takes a breath and he continues to say, for example, one of the biggest issues I've noticed is that for time to time, most police officers, when interrogating a suspect, will lock that suspect up in a room for hours, even days on end, and interrogate them with no presence of a lawyer until eventually they just confess, even if they're confessing to a crime they never committed. In that respect, that's why I am a detective. I seek the truth.
There's definitely like um I mean, you're welcome to roll insight, but I'm also pretty happy to give you this information because I don't think it's that very hidden.
If it helps, Azumi's passive insight is 23.
Yeah, okay, I'll just work off of that then. It's just like that expression of wow, that's messed up. But also kind of she's not like okay, because I mean, yeah, she's worked here. She works with like magic and stuff, and so it's like she's seen some pretty bad stuff herself. So it's kind of a I know people can do really terrible things to other people, so this isn't actually phasing me that much, but also god damn that's like pretty terrible. But she also looks kind of thoughtful. And I suppose her next question is, if it's so bad over there, why are you here chasing after Trickster instead?
I did say I had a personal investment in this case.
Mm. That's enough for her. She's not gonna pry like fair enough. Personal. Just pretty much. If you want her to not pry into something, just tell her it's personal.
Perfect! Can't believe that worked.
God, I can't believe how well this is going.
This is what Azumi is good at. He is good at getting on people's good side. I can't wait for him to get annoying during the game, though.
Yeah, no, I still want them to rub each other the wrong way because the interactions, like, out, like, just in chat and stuff has been hilarious, but this has been going really well so far.
You said your name was Crystal, right?
Yes.
Mm.
What of it?
Well, I was just thinking. I do tend to partake in. I lend a hand in cases unrelated to the spirit rogues from time to time, especially during my stay here in Einquell. Would you mind if ever I come across a situation involving what you research in, would you mind if I come in contact with you again?
Um, she nods. I I also do lend my, as she sort of gestures to the hospital, as you can see. I also do lend hand on cases and things. In fact, I recently just got back from Villestown,
He raises a
helping
brow.
out with the aberration investigation that
Ah,
is going on over there.
you're acquainted with Detective Moria.
Yes, I assume you are too, then.
Yes, I assisted her with a case, her and a few others. But yes, I'm aware of the going-ons in relation to that case. Well, to an extent. Of course, I'm not the head detective on that case, so I only know what is passed along to me.
Hmm. Fair enough. Yes, I was hoping to lend my expertise on magic to help her maybe identify uh, what was causing the aberrations. But thus far, have not been able to provide more than uh, immediate help on the last case. Immediate mitigation on the last case.
Yes, that is rather unfortunate. I can see why you would be upset over something like that. And he pauses, and then he clears his throat and corrects himself. You don't happen to have any running theories in that case?
My best theory so far is Fey interference.
Faye. He actually
Yes.
looks a little surprised at that.
Look, this is personally, I have not consulted this with Morsky at all, but this is my personal theory. And the reason, there is a specific reason why she jumps to that conclusion first. That you can roll insight on that if you would like.
Alright, here we go. Alright, that is 21. I can do math.
Yep. No, that she does have you can gather that she's had personal experience with Fae. So like she does know them well enough to know that like some of the stuff about the, I don't know if you've listened to the last game, but the the some of the information that has been revealed was an enchanting voice and like a really um like mesmerizing person, and that just kind of screams of fey magic to her.
I think he oh, I did listen to the last game. I don't know how in the loop Azumi is, but he does take that into consideration, and he goes, "Well, I haven't even thought of that. That is rather interesting." Hmm. And he
Of
looks.
course,
Oh, continue.
I could be wrong. There are many overlapping areas, and Inkwell in particular seems to be bad for that. But yes, that is probably my number one uh, conclusion. Best suspect so far.
Well, whatever it is, I am glad it is. Well, I shouldn't say this in such a tone or phrase it this way, but I am glad it is something less dangerous than mind flayers and beholders and aberrations such as those. That said, though, targeting people at their most vulnerable. Despicable.
Yeah, you get a nod at that, like, definitely.
he gives you a smile though, and I think by now you guys are getting closer and closer to the exit of the
Yeah.
hospital, um, and he looks back to you, and he gives you another like charming smile, and he goes, "Well, if you are also assisting on that case, then perhaps we'll meet each other again in that case."
Perhaps so. She's gonna. There's a moment of. Oh, hold on, and then I'm gonna roll hammer space. Yep. And she pulls out a business card and will hand it over. Since you were asking if you ever required my assistance on something, you can contact me via this, or my number is on there.
Once again, I am absolutely astonished that they're getting along this nicely.
I know. It's probably because they're not in any sort of like needing to solve something immediately and tensions are running high sort of situation.
Yeah, that's probably it. Um, uh, and Azumi takes the card and he looks it over, and after a moment, he puts it in his pocket, and he reaches for his other pocket, and he pulls out a notepad, and he excuse me, and he scribbles something down, and you realize this man doesn't have business cards. As he tears out this page that he just wrote down in and hands it to you, it has his name and a phone number on it. And he goes, "This is the phone number for the residence I am currently staying at." And he lets out a soft sigh, and he says, "Hopefully you'll get in contact with me before my roommates pick up the phone."
I'm just the crystal makes a face and you too, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, there's I will roll off of that last insight, and just your passive is there is a look on her face, and unfortunately Ju and I have not been able to play the game just yet, but she is thinking back to the state of her apartment when she got back to Villestown that she found it in from them.
Oh
From
no.
Eenie, Miney, and Mo.
Oh no. Crystal, I'm so sorry. Uh, uh, um, and he looks back towards the direction, he came in, and, he starts kind of like murmuring to himself, and he goes, "Well, I am going to have to come back and try to interview Sinclair again. hopefully by then the frenzy will have dissipated, at least a little bit by then.
the there is that snort of a laugh from Crystal, and she's like, "Well, I wish you the best of luck with that."
Well, it's not my first time dealing with a sort of paparazzi, I guess you could say. I'll manage.
Mm. Yeah, she gives a nod like, well, that's not like if you think you've got it, then who am I to disagree? um, oh, and yeah, I think she will with her left hand, because she still like had swapped across the books to the other hand, will hold it out for a shake, and I wish you the best of luck on your work.
Uh, Thank you, and I wish you the best of luck in your research. And he will shake your hand again.
Yeah. I think with that, honestly, like she's probably not going to stick around because that feels like, um, there's nothing more to say, and both of them seem pretty busy, so.
Yeah, huh. Huh. This went in a completely different direction than I was expecting it to, but I am glad with just, like, ending it off with, Azubi exiting the hospital, and, I assume going in a different direction than Crystal is.
Probably, yeah.
Uh, Goodness. And, with that, I think this is a good place to end off, so
Yeah.
thank you everybody for for listening in,
Um,
both in the present and well, we don't have an audience in the present, but both now and in the future.
Yee.
We bid you a good time zone.
Yee.